What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. On the last part of the series, we got to see everything that led up to the Buu saga. Jiren started to find his place in the universe, and that place was Earth. Of course he did have the Galactic Patrol, but Earth was something special to him. Through Goku, he was able to meet a bunch of people on Earth and see what this planet was like. It really gave him a new perspective as to what he's fighting for, as well as letting him make some new pals. But Earth isn't an entirely peaceful place. And now, a new threat appears, Majin Buu. For this part, let's set a like goal of 3,000 likes, and once you hit that, I'll continue the series with another part. Anyways, let's pick up from here. So of course, due to everything that happened in the last part, Babidi has enough energy now. And after all this time, he's finally done it. He's reawoken Majin Buu. Although Vegeta made a stupid choice, the good thing is he's unconscious now. And they should be able to reverse it once they defeat Babidi. But that's going to be an issue with Buu in the way. So, all at once, the group begins attacking him. Not only does he seem strong in terms of raw power, but defensively, he pretty much brushes everything off. Even if they do launch an attack that's powerful enough to damage him, he just instantly regenerates it. It seems this guy is completely impervious to any damage. He's way out of their league. Just to mess with things some more, Babidi covertly tries to heal and awaken Vegeta. This will give him another ally and another threat that they'll have to fight. But it seemed like he was biting off more than he can chew. By doing this, he gets caught. Jiren doesn't want to deal with any of his nonsense anymore, and quickly while he's trying to face Buu, he launches a small ki blast that instantly kills Babidi. Inadvertently, this helps the group. Babidi did get to heal Vegeta a bit, and now that Babidi's dead, that Majin curse is meaningless. Vegeta regains consciousness, trying to gather his thoughts. As he tries to process everything, he sees a beam coming right towards him, a candy beam from Buu. He doesn't have time to react, but thankfully someone grabs him, pulling him out of the way as they're all teleported somewhere else. Shin made the wise choice of grabbing onto the group and teleporting them to the sacred world of Kais. It's clear that they're not strong enough to face Buu right now, so they need a safe haven to make a plan first. And when they arrive there, the group's immediately alert when they see Vegeta's awake, ready to fight him just in case. They notice the M on his head is gone, which is a good sign. But of course they're still pissed at him for what he did. Luckily it won't have any long-lasting effects. But it still is partially his fault that Buu got revived. Vegeta's frustrated too, and he knows it is his fault. It was a stupid thing for him to do, really stupid. But that doesn't matter now. What matters most is that they need to find a way to defeat Buu. And you know what? He's right. They need to save Vegeta's scolding for later. Right now there's a really big issue that they need to focus on as opposed to what happened with Vegeta. So, what could they possibly do to try and defeat Buu? Hey, that rhymed. Well, Shin's already kind of getting an idea of what to do. I mean, just look around. There's a bunch of strong fighters on his planet ready to help. So he says maybe they can try and wield his plot device, the Z-Sword. Although they're going to need to pull it out of the stone first. The best bet is sending the strongest person there to try and get the sword out. Because maybe by using that power, they could defeat Buu with the sword. And of course, Jiren is still the strongest person here. So Shin tries to send him to pull out the sword. In passing, Jiren does know about the Kais, having heard tales but actually never experiencing meeting them. He was hoping for a peaceful day on Earth, not some big fight that involves having to help the gods. What a weird turn of events. Hopefully the Galactic Patrol's fine without him, but he's a bit concerned because maybe they're trying to go to Earth to stop Buu. And he knows that definitely won't end well. His communicator won't work. But thankfully telepathy can. Luckily he and Jaco are both able to use this. So from far away, Jaco gets an alert from Jiren, telling the Galactic Patrol to back off if they plan on going to Earth. It's good that he did this because otherwise they would have needlessly died. But warning them saves them the trouble. Jiren wants to get this over with quick, so hopefully he can get the Z-Sword out. If what Shin says about it is true, then they should be able to defeat Buu with it. Well, hopefully at least. It's a struggle and it does take some time, but eventually, Jiren is able to pull out the Z-Sword. He's not used to it right away, he does need to swing it around a bit and try and get a feel for it. But it seems like they may have time. Buu's just lazily going around turning people into candy. And obviously that's pretty terrible, but at least it could be reversed. They just need to get strong enough to attack him before Earth is destroyed as a whole. Everyone else trains on their own, while Jiren does his own training with the Z-Sword, trying to get a feel for how to use it. And as we saw with Gohan, just training with the sword makes you stronger. So he does see a subtle increase in power. Not to mention he actually has use over the weapon now. He doesn't want to waste any more time though. Once he's able to actually use the sword effectively, he wants to go back to Earth right away. Even if they're not strong enough yet, it's at least worth a shot. And if they can't defeat Buu, they can always come back here. Or maybe do some time chamber training. And the group decides he's right. It's risky, but it's worth the risk. Shin's nervous, but he listens to them. Taking everyone back to Earth, ready to face Buu now. Buu's happy to see that they've returned. He had fun fighting them before, and now he'll have something to pass the time. Maybe if he turns them into candy, it'll be a good snack. Immediately, Jiren goes up to him at full power, slicing him multiple times with the Z-Sword. Buu is cut into many different little pieces, as Jiren then uses a blast to try and eliminate him. It was a good strategy, but it didn't work. Buu regenerates, and he's now a little bit ticked off. Pretty casually, he grabs the sword from Jiren's hands, snapping it in half much to the surprise of everyone. That's definitely kind of an issue now. It might not matter though. Maybe with what little training they got, they're strong enough now, especially the Saiyans who got power boosts. It'll definitely be tough, but it's worth a shot. At one point during the fight, Piccolo is punched and knocked away. And as he gets up, he notices something weird. There's a new person standing there, hiding behind a rock. It's some old man with purple skin. But then Piccolo notices his outfit. Is that a Kai outfit? Piccolo asks who this guy is and he introduces himself. It's Elder Kai. He was freed from the sword as soon as Buu broke it. Seeing Majin Buu is surprising and terrifying at the same time. But he's impressed that these fighters are somewhat able to hold him off at least. But he tells Piccolo there's no way that they could fully defeat Buu. The best they could do right now is stall Buu. This is a lot of information to unload on Piccolo all at once, and he doesn't even really know how to process it. But Elder Kai does have a way to help. Shin and Kibito are watching from their planet and they're surprised as well. Not only did the Z-Sword break, but there was a Kai inside of it. They definitely have a lot of catching up to do later on. But they also want to get him out of there. And then they notice that he's handing Piccolo something. He took off his Patara earrings and told Piccolo to use them. Elder Kai explains as quickly as possible. If two fighters put on these earrings, they'll fuse into one, although it is permanent. But the whole purpose of the fusion is to make a really strong fighter, and that may be enough to defeat Buu. And defeating Buu is a pretty big priority for him, even though he just met these guys he's gonna help. Before Piccolo can ask any questions, Shin and Kibito show up, ready to teleport everyone out of there. But Piccolo says he's staying. Now with these, they may be able to have a chance. He yells to Gohan, throwing both of the earrings. And surprise, surprise, Gohan actually catches them this time. Piccolo yells out how to use them and what they do. And they're all caught up in the heat of the moment, so they have no other choice but to actually listen to his directions. But when he shouts this, it actually alerts Buu. Not knowing what they're planning, he turns Gohan into candy while he's looking away, dropping the earrings. Shockingly enough, Gohan can still fight as Candy, but it's clearly going to be tough for him to help now. Luckily, everyone else heard what Piccolo said. Jiren says he'll hold Buu off, and tells Goku to get the earrings. Goku rushes over past Buu, diving as he picks up the earrings and then jumps back up. Now he needs to decide who to fuse with. Piccolo's open, but he's not the strongest choice. Jiren's the strongest, but he's preoccupied with Buu, so it'll be hard to make that work. And Gohan still has the same strength, but he's Candy now. So even though he'd be a good option to fuse, they don't know how he's supposed to put the earring on. But that leaves one other good option, and Goku knows it would be hard to convince him, but he sets his sights on Vegeta. Goku puts on his own earring as he runs up towards Vegeta, putting one on him without asking. Vegeta's angered, but Goku says that he owes him from before, and suddenly the two fly towards each other as they fuse. Jiren's desperately defending against Buu, trying to not be turned into candy as well. Buu knocks Jiren away and then launches towards him. But then from the sidelines, half of Buu is incinerated, as he falls down to the ground. Buu regenerates his lower half, looking around to see who did that. Someone taps him on the shoulder and he turns around, as he's immediately punched in the face, flung to a cliff miles away. Standing there is the fusion of Goku and Vegeta. Vegito. He's surprised. Even in his base form, he's having an easy time right now. Everyone's amazed to see this fusion, and Vegito's just as amazed too. He's glad this worked, and this will definitely help. But Piccolo shouts out one thing they forgot to mention. He says he'll see if they can defuse with the Dragon Balls later on. Vegito looks over confused. Can't he choose when he wants to end the fusion? Well, not really. Piccolo says he forgot to mention that it's permanent. Vegito's terrified now, but Piccolo says in his defense, it was in the heat of the moment and was the only way to save everyone. Whatever, Vegito won't worry about that now. Hopefully the Dragon Balls can work later on. It's an odd adjustment for him, obviously. I mean, Vegeta literally had no say in the fusion, and they knew nothing about it prior. The two souls slowly get used to this new body, as Buu then rockets towards them once again. Vegito completely overpowers Buu, just alone. Buu tries to attack, but Vegito dodges, then countering with his own flurry of attacks, so fast that Buu can't even register what's happening. While the fight continues, Gohan rolls over to where Elder Kai is. Vegito being permanently fused is not the only issue. Gohan really hopes that he's not permanently stuck as Candy. But it's his lucky day. Buu launches a candy beam at Vegito, who quickly rushes over to Gohan and throws him up towards the beam, so fast that Buu doesn't even notice what's happening. Being hit by the beam again turns him back to normal, and he doesn't know what the hell just happened, but he rolls with it. Vegito jumps back up towards Buu, ready to finish the fight, and even though he doesn't need it, just for fun, he wants to try out Super Saiyan. As he's coated in the golden aura, he transforms, going into Super Saiyan as he prepares his final attack. And with one blast, he completely eliminates Buu. He doesn't hold back at all because he wants to make sure everything is erased. And now finally, Buu is defeated once and for all. Okay, now they have to get the Dragon Balls. Their priority is to revive everyone that was killed by Buu, and then later on, they'll need to find a way to reverse Vegito's fusion. Luckily, amidst the search for the Dragon Balls, Vegito suddenly defuses. Oh, that turned out perfectly. It looks like that's one less thing that they need to worry about. So, that means everything wraps up nicely. The fusion worked and ended, everyone is revived, and now Earth is back to normal once again. So next, we get into a little time skip. Over this time period, Jiren begins thinking about something. Earth has all these great fighters, but they're not really formally organized into a group. Sure, unofficially they're the Z Fighters, but it's really just a group of guys that fight together whenever they're needed. Similar to the Galactic Patrol, Earth could use a group like that. One that has better organization and resources, and a set group of people. That way, they can more easily defend against galactic threats like Boo. Maybe he could pursue that later on. They could be an unofficial branch of the Galactic Patrol. Maybe they can even get their own uniforms. What a novel concept. We'll see some of that later on. Eventually, we do arrive at Battle of Gods. Beerus finally wakes up from his nap, and much like normal, he's looking for a Super Saiyan God. But right now, Goku's with the Galactic Patrol, so when Beerus goes to Earth, he meets up with Vegeta instead, who he actually knows from before. Vegeta's terrified to see him and tries to appease him, saying maybe they can ask Shenron about the Super Saiyan God. He can't really think of anything else, and he doesn't want to make Beerus angry, so he does this. His stomach drops as he hears the requirements. Crap, they need to do some ritual with other Saiyans. Kakarot's not here right now, but there are some Saiyans on Earth at least. So maybe if he gets everyone together, there is a shot at doing this. But it's going to take some time for Goku to come to Earth. Whis says not to worry. He hears that this Goku guy's with the Galactic Patrol, so Whis quickly flies out into space to meet him. Suddenly on the Galactic Patrol ship, all the patrolmen are terrified as someone comes on the ship, seemingly just making his own door and walking on. He asks if anyone knows where Goku is, and terrified, they all point in his direction. Goku's intrigued by this guy coming on the ship, but Jiren's a little ticked off. Great, more gods getting involved. Just what he wanted. After his experience with the Kais, he's not really too keen on working with the gods again, but they obviously have no other choice. Goku's brought to Earth and it still seems that they're short for the ritual, but thankfully Videl's still able to join, so the ritual's done and Vegeta gets Super Saiyan God this time. And there's not too much to discuss about his fight with Beerus. It's pretty much the same as what Goku's was like, but what follows is actually of interest. Vegeta's of course going to go train with Beerus and Whis, and Goku kind of wants to go too so he can get the Super Saiyan God form and get stronger. But he also does need to stick with the Galactic Patrol, and the issue is travel time. Not to worry though, Whis can quickly help them travel anywhere. It'll only take a few minutes back and forth. And you know, he doesn't care wasting a few minutes traveling. What's a few minutes to him when you're millions or billions of years old? And you know what? Jiren's actually kind of interested in this prospect too. Training with gods. That may help him get a lot stronger. While the last gods he met seemed kind of ignorant and weak, Beerus and Whis actually seem intimidating. And kind of serious. Although, little does he know, Beerus is a pretty lazy guy. He'll come to learn that later on. He asks if he can come along too, and Goku vouches for him. I mean, now with Super Saiyan God, Vegeta's the strongest. But Goku tells Whis that Jiren is even stronger, and he'll probably be able to catch up to Vegeta and surpass him in no time, even if he's a bit behind now. So Jiren ends up training with them, and after some time, he quickly comes to learn that these gods are definitely not what he saw them as. They are just like Shin and Kibito. He's pretty disappointed in the state of the gods. They all seem lazy and uninterested in their jobs. Beerus lays around doing nothing and only cares about food. And Whis actually does do something, but it's only at the request of Beerus. It's a pretty shameful excuse for gods. Jiren realizes that if they took their job seriously, the universe would be so much better than it is now. And this actually gives him a new goal. He wants to surpass the gods, if that's even possible. Beerus brings something up about a god of destruction candidate. Goku and Vegeta aren't interested, but surprisingly enough, Jiren does show some interest. See, the Jiren we all know definitely wouldn't do this, but this one grew up differently. He wants to use his power for good, and if he does become a god of destruction, there could be some real change in this universe for once. I mean, think about what's happened to him so far and what he's been up to. This would definitely be something of interest to him. And after getting to know Beerus, something doesn't really sit right about him. He's far too apathetic about his job. And little does Jiren actually know, Beerus actually knows Frieza, and commanded him to destroy the Saiyans. Beerus knows of Jiren's grudge against Frieza and hopes that Jiren doesn't find this out. Same with how he doesn't want the Saiyans to hear that he told Frieza to destroy planet Vegeta. But Jiren's a very persistent guy, and quite smart. Chances are, he might find this out eventually. And speaking of Frieza, we haven't seen the last of him. He's in prison right now, in complete solitude while also shrunk down. He's angered having been here for so long, and he wants to escape, but it seems like there's no way to do that. But maybe if he gets help, he'll be able to do this. Obviously there's other people in the prison, and they probably want to escape as well. If he figures out a way to contact some people, maybe he can get some help. And that would mean he'd finally be free again, allowing him to get his revenge on the Galactic Patrol, and specifically Jiren. Of course, those Saiyans would probably be in the way as well. So keep this in mind. We'll see Frieza very soon, but we're gonna have to leave off here for now. So, what did you guys think about this part? How do you think the training with Beerus and Whis will go for everyone? And do you think Jiren will actually form that faction that he wanted to form? Also, how will his plans of becoming a god of destruction go? Leave any thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit that like goal from the beginning of the video so we can get another part of this series. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? as well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.